Hello, what's up YouTube? Ron is with another tutorial, and in this tutorial I want to show you guys how you can easily set up the mixer brush tool and the three different ways in which you can understand where to apply your mixer brush tool every single time you're trying to blend or even out the skin tone in your images during frequency separation. So this tutorial is for all of you guys who have been confused about the best way to apply the mixer brush tool, or where to blend and where not to blend, and where you can see, or where you can easily see where you can apply the mixer brush tool and the effect it does. So I want to show you guys the different ways in which you can use the mixer brush tool and see where you have to paint through and even out skin tone quite well. So with the first step, we just want to know how we can easily set up the mixer brush tool depending on the results we want in the images. So remember, you have to know the very first step about frequency separation, and in this tutorial I'll show you guys the very first thing you have to do in order to retain enough texture or details every single time you're going to apply the mixer brush tool, when you're going to do your frequency separation, or when you're going to blend the skin tones in all your images. So first of all, I'm just going to come to my actions and I'm going to play my 16-bit action. Remember, this is a 16-bit image. That's why I'm just going to come and play my 16-bit frequency separation action. So for those interested in purchasing and supporting this channel, don't forget to check the links in the description of this video so that you can purchase my actions and also support this channel. And if at all you haven't liked this video, I forgot to say, remember to hit the like button, and YouTube is going to push this to more people out there who are interested in learning retouching or frequency separation. Let me just hope you guys are done hitting the like button. I'm just going to come and I select this action and I play it. So it is this point that is going to determine the overall skin texture in your images before you can even do any skin retouching. So usually the radius is going to be at 0.1. So you have to move this radius up to a point when you're starting to lose out on the details. So you have to zoom in and look for the area that has more details or skin texture than the rest of the image. And now move this radius or slider up to the point when you're starting to lose out completely on these prominent textures or details in your images. So just move that. So I think at around 7, that's when I'm losing out, or that's when I'm starting to lose out on the details. So it means that the details I lose out are the ones that are going to be in my final image. So you have to be careful with this step. So you don't have to cram this radius depending on the images. Some images may be requiring a low radius and others may be requiring a high radius. So I'm just going to play my action and it's just going to play, and I don't know why it is taking forever. So usually I'm just going to come and I'm going to delete this, and I want to show you guys the reason also I've deleted it. So usually this is the normal frequency separation group, and usually we have the high and low frequency layer. I'm just going to come and also delete this. So if at all you have a frequency separation action, it may be containing the high and low frequencies and only has 2 layers that are in a group. So first of all, like I said, let's just set up the mixer brush tool to have the right settings. So some people, when they come to the mixer brush tool, so just right click under the brushes and get the mixer brush tool. And for older version of Photoshop, I'm using the 2020 version. And if at all you have older versions, your mixer brush tool may be down here. So I'll show you guys how you can easily set it up. So after selecting it, make sure you come and make sure it is a clean brush. So we have 2 options right here. Make sure you highlight or check this second one, because as we are painting through the skin, we don't want the brush to carry any color. So this option is going to be cleaning the brush every single time we are trying to even out different colors or skin tones of our models. So we don't have to carry color from maybe this area to this area. So this option is just going to clean for us the brush. So I prefer, and of course these settings differ from person, or it is more of a personal preference, but the ones I love to use, I've seen people use 30 all through, the weight of 30, load 30, mix 30, and the flow 100, and it works for them. But for me personally, I prefer to use a weight of 9, load 75, mix 90, and the flow 100. And make sure sample all layers is not checked. So we are done setting up the mixer brush tool. So the major emphasis for today's tutorial is where or how do we know where to paint and where not to paint as we are trying to blend or even out the skin tone. So like I said, I'm just going to show you guys 3 different techniques that you can use to identify those areas that you have to paint through. The very first one, if at all you're really conversant with your site or your vision, you can just come and select the low frequency layer and just paint as you're looking at the image right now. And the way you paint, you can increase on the size of the mixer brush tool by using the box brackets on the keyboard. And how we paint, you simply left click and hold down and start painting just like that. So you have to come and paint over the areas you feel like are not really matching quite well. But this is going to be a little bit confusing, but if at all you really trust your site, you can opt for this kind of technique to see everything and you don't get distracted. So let's see what you have done with just painting on this particular area. So this is the before and after, before after, and it has evened out the skin tones in that particular area right here. So the very second technique that you can use in order to see those uneven skin tone transitions. Remember, skin retouching is more of evening out the skin tones in a particular area of the skin. And when we have even transitions within the skin tone, it means that the skin is going to be really even. And later on, we deal with the blemishes, and that combined gives us a very nicely retouched image. So the very second technique that I want to show you guys, where you can see the areas where to paint or blend using the mixer brush tool, is simply coming to, you can see my frequency separation group. Just come and click on this icon and just turn off the high frequency layer. And when you do this, you can see every area that has uneven or inconsistent skin tone transitions. You can see like these areas right here. Right here, you can see those areas. And when you're done doing that, you just come and make sure you're selected on the low frequency layer. And you can use the box brackets to play around with the size of the mixer brush tool. And you can just come and start, you can see, just get rid of that patch. And as we're using this technique, rather, it is going to be turning your portrait like an oil kind of painting. So just left click and drag, and as you're mixing, make sure that you blend or mix areas that kind of look alike together, and on that border where those areas are trying to transition, just come and paint in the middle of that particular area, and it's really going to get you the best results. So this technique or this step or this trick is going to be showing you like your image is turning out to be like that kind of an oil kind of painting thing or portrait. So let me just come and paint right here so that you can see what I'm trying to mean. So when I paint, you can see every area I'm painting turns out to be really smooth and oily. But when you come back and turn on the high frequency layer and you turn the whole group on and off, you can see that the texture is still there in this particular image, and we have been able to blend the uneven skin tone transitions. So this is more of a second technique. So you turn this off and you select the low frequency layer and just come and paint just like that. And the way I'm painting, I simply make sure I paint in the direction of how that area is moving. You can see right now I'm painting in this format because the chin area or the cheekbone area is shaped in an up and down kind of direction. So that is the second way in which you can notice where to blend or where not to blend every single time you're using the mixer brush tool for frequency separation. So just turn this on and you can see what you have just done to blend or even out the skin tone transitions or the uneven skin tone transitions. Now the other or the third step or trick that you can use in order to notice the areas without skin tone transitions or areas without even skin tone transitions is coming to the high frequency layer and make sure it is selected. So just want to create a black and white layer on top of the high frequency layer. So select the high frequency layer and come to the adjustments and come to black and white. And when you do this, what you have to do is come into the reds. Make sure you come to the reds and simply left click on this icon and hold down and just darken it slightly. And when you darken, you can notice that we have those areas that have or show patches. You can even brighten up the yellows if at all you wish to, just slightly. So you can see like the uneven skin toned areas have that kind of black and dark patches or bright patches. And after you have created the black and white layer, don't forget to come back and you select the low frequency layer. So you're just going to come and paint in those areas that seem to have patches in the images using the mixer brush tool. And like I said, the painting has to be in the way a particular area is shaped. So just paint in that direction of that area. So let me just come and paint right here so that you can see the effect. So I'm just going to paint in this kind of direction, just like that. So I'm just trying to even out every area that shows maybe dark black and gray, and I'm just trying to create an even skin tone or uneven color using the mixer brush tool. So I'm just going to come and do that right away and increase on the size and just paint on these other areas just like that. Reduce on the size and paint over those areas just like that. And you can come right here and just paint over those areas to harmonize or create that nice transition. So after you have blended those skin tones, just come and turn off the black and white layer, and you can turn this on and off to see what you have done when you're trying to blend or even out the skin tones in the images. So basically those are the three steps. So the very first step was simply working without this black and white layer. You just come and you only work with these two layers, but you leave the visibility option on and select the low frequency layer. And the second method is turning off the texture layer and selecting the low frequency layer and painting through. But as you're doing this, the image turns out to be like an oily oil painting kind of a look. And the last technique was simply leaving these two options on and creating a black and white layer and coming back and selecting the low frequency layer and simply painting over the areas where you feel like you have patches in your images. So that is it for today's tutorial. And if at all you have loved this video, don't forget to like it and don't forget to subscribe this channel if at all you have been watching from this channel for the very first time. Ronix from Ronix Photography. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in yet more tutorials. And don't forget to keep practicing and keep creating.